Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Sports Scene by NGTV. I suppose we'll start things off by speaking about the midweek European games. So on Tuesday, what's he thinking now? I think it was
Porto and Chelsea.
Porto, Chelsea, and Bayern Munich, PSG. I chose to watch the Bayern Munich and PSG game.
I didn't watch either because I was very tired that day.
Yeah, I mean, why would you watch Chelsea or Porto over that?
I tell you what, that
Really?
Porto goal was a peach, though, to be fair.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw it, but... Whew.
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah. I mean, well, we'll speak about the English team first.
Yeah.
So Chelsea made it through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. They lost 1-0 on the night.
2-1 aggregate.
2-1. Yeah. I think pretty much in the last podcast I said, obviously people were saying, Chelsea are definitely through. I'm pretty sure that I said it's not going to be as easy as everyone thinks. They've got the two best players coming back for that game. And Porto ended up winning on the night, so it wasn't.
They had some decent chances as well, to be fair.
Yeah, so obviously Chelsea have been pleased that they've made it through now, but it wasn't as easy as what people would have thought it'd be. Obviously, with Chelsea winning the away game, 2-0. But yeah, I think Porto made a good name for themselves this year. I think.
Yeah, they had a decent run, especially with the obviously with the Juventus game, like winning it the way they did in the end.
Yeah, and as I say, they were in Man City's group. I know I think we beat them like 4-1 at home, but they played really well. Obviously, when we went to their ground, I think it was 0-0, to be honest. So they are really. It wouldn't surprise me. Porto were known to be like a feeder club, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it won't be surprising if teams just come in and just absolutely dismantle that team. To be honest, there is some decent players in there.
They're one of them teams, a bit like Benfica and Sporting. As soon as they get any good players, people are like, we'll take them. You go back to being average. Yeah,
those type of teams kind of rely on having like a good academy to bring players through and then just sell them on for about 50-60 million at a time.
Good business model.
It works. It's the same as Ajax, isn't it? Like Ajax have a shit sort of academy, and they do the same. Like they rely heavily on their academy to survive, really.
Yeah.
But I mean, if someone would have said a few months ago, Chelsea would be in like an FA Cup semi-final and Champions League semi-final, I probably would have laughed.
Yeah, it wasn't looking great. Obviously, a good recovery. They're 5th in the league now. Like you say, 2 semi-finals. You definitely wouldn't have thought that when they were under Frank Lampard. I don't necessarily know if it's Tuchel that's changed it or if it's just the attitude of the players, but whatever's changed, it's obviously positive for them.
Yeah, and as I say, I think they've got a strong chance, I think, of probably making it to the final because of the way that they play.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get on to the team they're going to be playing. We'll go with the other team in the game Tuesday, which was PSG. I think everyone thought it would be a Bayern Munich Man City semi-final.
When it was announced,
PSG have just kind of spoiled that party. But again, they weren't very good at home. They seem more like a team built up to play away from home than they are at home.
Yeah.
Like I said, they went to obviously Bayern Munich won 3-2, went to the new camp 4-1, but in the return legs when they've had to play at home, they haven't been very good. And they've hung on a little bit. I know Bayern Munich won 1-0 on the night. PSG went through on away goals. But I can't help but think if Bayern Munich had Gnabry and Lewandowski, they would say with the chances that Bayern Munich made as well.
You'd have to think so, wouldn't you?
So, but as I say, they seem to set up better as an away team in Europe, and as I say, they're not doing. They should be top of the, but they're not.
They're like Liverpool of Europe at the moment.
Yeah, so it was weird, but I'm happy Bayern Munich around.
Yeah, I mean,
so.
I did say, and I'd probably go out on a limb and say it now. I thought that if Bayern went out to PSG, that gave Man City like the best odds to win the whole thing. I'd probably place them at favourites now.
I know. For some reason, like Man City are the favourites every year. For some reason,
it's the
even though we have
squad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, although we haven't really got the best records in Europe, we've literally made the favourites ever since.
Yeah.
We're going on to the Wednesday games. Obviously, Man City made it through. I actually got it. I got it absolutely spot on as well.
Yeah.
I said City would win 2-1 and 4-2 on aggregate, which was correct.
There you go.
They were 1-0 down at half time. People have been saying that the penalty was a bit harsh. I thought it was a penalty straight away when I seen it, to be honest. And when I seen the replay, I don't get how someone can say that wasn't a penalty, to be honest.
Yeah, I get what you mean, mate.
I did get nervous when I seen who was stepping up to take the penalty, I'll be honest.
Don't you always when it's City though, unless it's Ederson stepping up?
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting there and I was just thinking, just hit the target. Yeah, to keep the pulse off, like if the keep goals the right way and saves, just hit the target. That's all I was praying for. And then, obviously, Mario scored. Dortmund had to then come out and try and attack us, which then played into our hands.
Yeah.
And then Phil Foden got the winner. It was a nice strike, to be fair. 21, 22 yards out, something like that.
Yeah.
But what I liked best about the Phil Foden goal is the celebration.
I did see that.
Everyone literally. He charged over to Pep.
Yeah.
And then the team came over and all the team was hugging and it seems like they really want this one. Like this year, they really want it.
I like that.
So, as I said, which was nice to see. So City will play PSG in the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Which is obviously better than playing Bayern Munich, in my opinion, even though PSG knocked them out.
I would say you've got more weapons to shut PSG down than they did.
Yeah, I think the way City play, I think is probably the worst case scenario for PSG.
Yeah. Because
of the way we keep hold of the ball, and like Neymar and Mbappe aren't going to get much of the ball.
Yeah, Diaz will probably make it like his mission to man mark Mbappe, like so.
And to be honest, I fancy me chances because obviously Mbappe usually goes to like the left, which will be Kyle Walker's at right back, and I fancy him keeping up with him like pace wise.
Yeah.
So
I
don't think like Mbappe's just going to blitz through the defence like he did against Bayern Munich and stuff like that. So I fancy Kyle Walker keeping up with him and keeping pace with him. So I do fancy our chances, to be honest, to beat PSG.
Same.
So I'm nervous, but I'm looking forward to it at the same time. So
yeah, well, the last tie of
Fingers
Wednesday,
crossed.
Liverpool Real Madrid finished in a draw, quite a stalemate.
Yep.
So 3-1 from the first leg to Real Madrid. Real Madrid will go through. That'll complete the other semi-final against Chelsea. So who do you expect to see in the final?
Well, obviously Manchester City.
No, that's what I mean.
Who,
as a City fan, who do you expect to face in the final? Is a better way of wording it.
I don't know. I think that Chelsea and Madrid game will be very tactical.
Yeah.
obviously we've seen Madrid, like they went to Liverpool and they basically just said you're gonna have to try and break us down here.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they'll do when they go to Stamford Bridge.
I think it very much depends which, like, if it's Stamford Bridge first, they'll come out because they'll want the away goals. But if it's, if it's in Spain first, then they may get what they can at home and then shut down away.
I did have a look off. I forgot because I checked. Obviously, our game. I wasn't sure whether we was at home first, but we go to Paris first leg on the Wednesday because we've got the cup final on the Sunday. Then we go to Paris on the Wednesday. But I can't remember who's at home first.
Yeah.
Out with Chelsea, Madrid, but I think Madrid will probably want to play Chelsea at home first, get the lead, and then try and defend it. But Chelsea again under Tuchel have kept a shed load of clean sheets and
that is true
and stuff like that. So I can just see it being like I can see it either going to penalties over the 2 legs, obviously, or a team going through by like 1 goal.
I could see it coming down to the away goals, to be honest.
Yeah,
like a couple of close games going down to away goals, but yeah, I'm same. I don't really know which team will go through. I'm leaning towards Chelsea, but I don't know. Maybe it's just that old English final type of deal. Like that's what's got me swayed towards Chelsea. But I just feel like possibly Chelsea could do it.
Yeah, I mean you could never write off Madrid. Like the teams like unreal, but I look at Madrid and they're old, aren't they?
They're getting old, yeah.
I know they've got Ramos and Varane to come back to the centre back position as well, which will make it harder to beat. I don't know. I can't pick a winner. I just think it's going to be dead tactical, and I don't think that the team's going to walk away with it, or it's going to be one-sided or anything.
I do think it is one of them 50-50s where you could go either way, and it just yeah.
But I think Madrid will want to play at home first.
Yeah,
definitely, like they did against obviously Liverpool.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go about it, isn't it? That's the way to beat people. Like strong display at home, try and limit the away goals, and then you kind of know what you need to do in the next leg then, and you don't have to worry about them scoring 1 and it meaning you have to score 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I said. Obviously, Man City go to Paris first leg.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping. I mean, if we can beat PSG in Paris and maybe get like a couple away goals, I think that'll put us in really good contention. Then going back to obviously our ground where we can just keep holding the ball and just knock it round.
I mean, I can't think of too many, if any, situations this season where City have conceded more than 2 goals.
No. Obviously, the game against Leicester at the very start of the season.
Yeah,
that was.
That's about it.
Yeah, that wasn't really when we kind of hit. I think we were about 13.
Yeah.
Or something like after like 10 games or something. So
it
wasn't.
It was weird.
Yeah, so it was after. I think since we've signed Diaz, we've pretty much been immense, really.
Yeah.
Not like the bad. We don't concede much. And
that's what I mean. So if you can score 2 there, and like maybe not concede, like I just don't see them beating you by 3 goals. Like.
Yeah. I would prefer to play away first.
Yeah.
To like get the like away goals and then obviously bring it back to our ground. So I was happy that we're away first.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can honestly see us going through, and I'm going to go on a limb and say I think it'll be quite comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's a win. I think I am leaning towards that All English final, to be honest.
And the fact that we have beaten PSG in knockout rounds a few years ago as well.
Yeah.
So it was a Kevin De Bruyne winner as well in the second leg at the Etihad. So hopefully history repeats itself.
Yeah, let's hope so. Right, moving on to the Thursday night games then. So United took on Granada, taking a 2-0 lead into the second leg. Another 2-0. So that one finished 4-0 on aggregate. It was a pretty simple game, to be honest. Not too much happened, to be honest. It was quite a relatively boring game.
Yeah, I thought the job was done after the first leg.
Yeah,
I
same.
thought the second leg was just like formality. So
Yeah. Quite an unfortunate own goal at the end. I don't know if you saw that. But
yeah,
Mata missed a
yeah,
header, just hit him in the face.
I've seen the goals and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say I fancied the like an all English final in the Europa League this season.
Well,
Anyway,
it's definitely tipping towards that one. Like obviously United will take on Roma in the next leg. They drew 1-1, went through 3-2 on aggregate, I believe. But Arsenal, after a tight first leg at 1-1, just decided to smash Slavia Prague 4-0. I think apparently people were saying like Lacazette kind of did like almost like his equivalent of the hacker, where he like knelt and stared down the guy that was racist against Rangers, and they think that's what might have fired him up. But whatever happened, it worked, and they walked that game.
yeah, I mean, it shouldn't have really gone to a second leg, but you would have thought Arsenal would have been far too strong.
Yeah.
Any, like to be, I'm surprised Leicester didn't beat him.
I was quite shocked Leicester didn't beat them.
So, yeah, but yeah, so I think Arsenal,
Villarreal, I believe.
Villarreal,
Yeah.
I think they'll be too strong. I think United. I mean, I don't think Roma should have got through. I actually battered it in both games, but lost. So I think United will definitely have to for Roma, and Arsenal should have. It depends which Arsenal turn up, but they should have too much for Villarreal as well. So, and then it should make an interesting final.
That'll be crazy scenes if we have all English Champions League, all English Europa League. That's just that'd be wild.
It happened a few years ago, didn't it? When it was Liverpool Spurs in the Champions League final, then it was Arsenal Chelsea.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
That was only about 2 or 3 years ago.
That was that'd be 2 seasons ago. It would have been.
Yeah. So like I say, it could happen again, which would be fun.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay. Well, moving on to the weekend fixtures. So we've got a potential early preview of the Champions League final. Chelsea versus Man City in the FA Cup semi-final. Obviously Leicester take on Southampton in the other semi-final. And then United have got Burnley in the league. That's about all I could pick out, really.
Yeah, I mean, this was a big week for us. Obviously, with the Dortmund game and then the FA Cup game, you know, we could have seen our quadruple hopes literally cut down straight to a double in like the space of a week. So, I think our confidence will be high going to the game on Sunday. I think Chelsea will set up very defensively, try and play on the counter attack.
Yeah. I mean, they've got them players up there that are capable, you know, like they're rapid players like Werner and Pulisic, so
even Havertz is coming into like a bit of form now as well.
Yeah, and Mason Mount seems to be growing in confidence every game.
So they've definitely got dangerous players as well, but I say I'm clinging on to the fact that we can definitely win a quadruple. Like it's getting to the point now where like obviously the league is all but wrapped up.
Yeah.
We're in the final of one, and then obviously two semi-finals. So
you're about 5 games away from a quadruple in theory.
Yeah, so it's just crazy, really. But I've gone from like hoping to like actually like thinking
almost
like
expecting.
Like this could really happen. No, I think if it's getting to the point now where if we win like a double, I'm going to be like,
yeah, it's probably a bit of a failed season though.
Yeah, even though if at the start of the year if you went, oh, you know, City going to win, I don't know, the Premier League and FA Cup,
you'd have bit off, like,
a decent season, like But now it's getting to the point, like I say, where it's going to be like, oh, we won a double. You know, we were really on for like the quad.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? You just want to see him realise that potential at that point.
Yeah, so as I say, it's going to be let's say it's a big week. It's a big next few weeks.
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Like I say, literally every game now for us is probably like a cup final. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe not so much the league because the league's almost wrapped up, but you know, It's definitely the case with the rest of them. Just that one game. But I suppose the problem with cup finals is anyone can show up on the day. But I don't know. City have been pretty consistent since that little dip at the start. Kind of, I'm in the same boat as you. Kind of half expecting them to pull off all four.
Yeah, I think everyone is now.
Yeah.
Like the way that everyone's like, because like I said, it's like the semi-finals at least now.
Yeah.
In like 2 competitions, and then obviously the league, and we're in the cup final. Everyone's like, because we're obviously playing really well, we're really in form. Like everyone's expecting us to win the quadruple now.
Yeah.
Like every time Pep's doing like an interview, he literally dismisses talking about the quadruple, and it's just like we'll take it a game at a time and stuff like that. But
yeah, someone get inside their own heads.
yeah, it's just like, to be honest. Well,
yeah,
that's
and then
fingers crossed.
I would say the other semi-final, you would expect Leicester to win that against Southampton. Southampton must have had some glorious luck to get this far because they've been terrible this season.
I think both of them are badly out of form as well. Like Leicester have completely dropped off. Southampton have definitely dropped off. So it's a weird game, I think.
Yeah, it's a very weird game. Like I say, I kind of expect Leicester to win, but I don't know, the magic of the FA Cup, you never know, do you?
Yeah. I mean, I'd definitely lean towards Leicester to win.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like looking at like recent games for both teams, they're like out. Apart from obviously Leicester against United in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's literally
where
the only game they've shown.
Yeah, I think that's the only game where I've seen recently of Leicester where they've played at some high level. So, like the game against West Ham, they were poor. They could have gone 4-0 down in it. Like
yeah.
They've just completely dropped off. I think that one's just going to be like a game. To be honest.
Yeah, and then the other one that I wrote down was just Man United versus Burnley. Obviously, being a Man United fan, that was of interest to me. Chance to not like create a bigger gap, but put pressure on Leicester's next game if we win as well, which I expect us to do. But United, these are the type of teams where we just somehow can't get up for it and end up getting beat. So I do worry, but I expect United to win.
Is this at Old Trafford as well?
Yeah.
As I say, I think United are like PSG. Like they were better than you're at home. So
yeah.
I say these are like the games where United just fucking lose their heads and drop points.
That's it. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean you would expect United to win, but like you said, it's one of the games where they can just go full Man United and just draw or lose or something.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think they need to hold this consistency to the end of the season now. Obviously, there's a chance to win a trophy in the Europa League, and I don't want them focusing on that to take away from finishing second in the league, because as shit as United have been for like the last 4 seasons, a second place finish is probably about as good as we could have expected at the start of the season. So
yeah, I think at the start of the year, if someone probably was said to you, you can finish runners up and obviously win the Europa League, so you wouldn't look at it and say it's a bad season.
No, you'd have probably taken it. You'd have to. I think people need to stop expecting what used to happen, where it's like the league was almost a guarantee every year, and then any other cup you could win. Them times are done now. We're not that team anymore. So, to win a trophy would be great, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think any trophy. If you can win any trophy, I think I'd rather win just the EFL Cup and not win nothing. You know what I mean? So cup's a cup to me. I'd rather win a trophy.
Genuinely hate when teams but it's only that, or when fans it's only that cup. It's still our cup. You still had to win it.
Yeah. So
crazy.
I just say I'd rather win a trophy than go for the all seasons go. But at least we finished third.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good on us.
I'd rather go. Well, we finished fourth, but won the EFL Cup.
Yeah.
We've got something to fucking show for it. You know what I mean? So I say cup's a cup, even though people downplay the Europa League as well.
Yeah.
No, it's still there.
Still a European Cup at the end of the day, like. Yeah, right. Well, that's all for football. Let's move on to the UFC. It's not a big card, so we'll just highlight the main event. So we've got UFC Fight Night, Whittaker versus Gastelum. So we've got Robert Whittaker, 23-5, former middleweight champion, 16 previous UFC fights. He's 13-3 in the UFC. He's a 4 times Performance of the Night recipient, 4 times Fight of the Night recipient, and he was a member of Team Australia during the Ultimate Fighter The Smashes, where he was at welterweight. He moved to middleweight in 2014 and has fought there ever since. Then we've got Kelvin Gastelum, 16-6 with 1 no contest, 18 previous UFC fights, 11-6 with the 1 no contest in the UFC, and he's a 2 times Performance of the Night recipient and 2 times Fight of the Night recipient. How do you see it going?
Probably definitely towards Whittaker.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me.
I'd say I thought he looked really good in his last fight.
Yeah.
I know that. I'd say we spoke about Gastelum a little bit. I know he won his last fight, but obviously the fights, like his fights before, was it like that's his first one in like
3 or 4 years? I think because of the he had a year suspension in there at some point.
Yeah, so I think you'd have to go with Whittaker, and he's beaten before, hasn't he?
I don't think so. No, I think they fought before.
I thought there were coaches on the Ultimate Fight.
I don't. It didn't say Whittaker Gastelum 2, so I don't think they fought before. I don't remember seeing them on the list either. But
I thought they did because there were obviously the 2 coaches in the Ultimate Fight, weren't they? So unless they were meant to fight, one of them I
think that's when Gastelum might have got banned actually because of the thingy, because of the weed, tested positive for weed before it was all allowed. But it's a tough one for me.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me because I like Gastelum. I thought, like, going back like 3-4 years, I thought he was going to be a champion at some point. I'm not entirely sure about that now, but you know, he tends to come with a pretty exciting fight. Like, he's happy to swing, like the fight with Adesanya. You know, that was fight of the year when they fought. It's an interesting look because you'd have thought that this was the decider. You know, this was the knockout for who gets the next shot at the middleweight title, but I don't think Gastelum's earned it even if he wins, and I don't think Whittaker wants it yet. And it's still looking like Marvin Vettori will probably get it, to be honest. So it's a strange one.
I think like after Whittaker's last fight, I think Dana said that he was next, and then Whittaker was kind of like,
I want to fight a few more times.
Yeah, I want to fight and get like a building, like a winning streak before jumping back in there with Adesanya. So it probably, I think it probably will be Vettori because he's on like a
I think it's 5
streak as well, isn't it? So he had obviously the split decision win against Adesanya. So I think that one probably makes more sense.
Yeah.
But it probably just depends what Adesanya wants, because he wanted Till, didn't he? He didn't. I think he got asked about the Vettori fight, and he wasn't really that interested in it.
Yeah, because I think from his point of view, he's already beat him. Is the thing, like, I already beat that guy, even though it was a split decision. So surely, like, with the way Adesanya's been, I know when he had like the decision victory against Brad Tavares, he said that was one that he'd always like to have back because he thought he was poor in that fight. So I'm surprised he doesn't kind of want to, you know, revisit that and, you know, maybe finish him or something and be like, there you go, I'm a better fighter, I've finished him this time. Yeah. So I guess we'll see with that one. I know there's been a few fights announced this week. The one that I saw was obviously Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira, which we kind of knew was the next one to happen, and I don't think that's happening until like later in the year as well, but I did see that was announced.
Obviously Dominic Reyes has had his next fight announced.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, will be
it'll be exciting, that fight.
Awesome fight,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of the
I can't
Sure,
pronounce his surname, but his first name's Yeri. It's like Trotsaitzka.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite fighters on like the whole roster. I think it's class. So,
he's such an exciting fighter, isn't
he? Yeah. So there's been obviously a few. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but there's been a few decent fights that have been.
Yeah, I know.
The UFC confirms obviously Conor and Dustin.
Yeah, you've got. I did save some of them. So you've got Shane Burgos versus Edson Barbosa, Jack Hermanson versus Edmund Shabazian, and Tony Ferguson versus Vanil Dariush. Were the three that I saved. But I know there's more. Like, there's obviously loads of fights coming up. Like, TJ Dillashaw's coming back against Corey Sandhagen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fights to look forward to, in my opinion.
Yeah, there is, and I'd say UFC always deliver on good fights. So
yeah,
it's not like the boxing that I'm currently having issues with. I mean, if that was in the UFC, that would have been done fucking months ago. That.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. So, but again, you could argue, it's a lot more money on the line in the boxing.
Just like they sorted that out ages ago. They agreed a 50-50 split last year.
I know. But it's all about gate and stuff like that, isn't it, as well? Because they wanted 100,000 people there and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just annoying, man. But
it is.
Anyway.
But to dive further into the boxing, obviously this weekend we've got Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. That's finally going to happen. And I know we were watching the videos of Ben Askren doing his punching drills the other day, and he's obviously looking much better than the heavy bag video from the very start, which I'm feeling like he has to have been taking the piss in that video, but who knows?
I don't think he was, because he had a virtual press conference yesterday.
Yeah.
And someone asked him, he said, obviously you look better, like with what we've seen yesterday.
Yeah.
And he basically said, he keeps saying, I'm not a good boxer.
Yeah.
Like he knows he's not. Yeah. But he said, I've retired from the UFC, and I was sitting on the couch and making podcasts.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't doing nothing. He said he was always injured, and obviously he had a hip replacement and stuff like that. He said, obviously when he got the call to box, he said he didn't do anything for about 18 months. So he said, so I think that was genuinely like him. I don't think he was actually taking the piss. I just think he was, because he said he wasn't doing nothing. And then he said, like, obviously if you give me like 11 weeks like the out, then I'm gonna improve. And they said, which is obviously what you've seen.
Yeah, I did see him say that, because he was like, when I was young, I decided I wanted to be a wrestler, and I became, an All-American, Olympic level wrestling. I wanted to be a UFC fighter. Well, I wanted to be an MMA fighter. I won multiple belts in multiple organizations. So, if I want to learn how to strike, I'm pretty sure in this time I can learn to beat up a YouTuber.
Yeah, he's quite funny, like witty, isn't he? Like he said,
yeah, he always has been. Like,
he was saying loads of shit, like what he's like born in. He's like, and then he went, like, I am an athlete, and and he's Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Like doing like little snide remarks like that, and
you can tell it gets on his nerves as well.
Yeah, but I see Ben Askren winning, mate.
So do I. Now that I've seen, like, the more and more I see, the more I think, Ben Askren will win.
It's actually like, I hope it doesn't come back and hit me in the face, but it's quite laughable how Jake Paul thinks he's going to walk in there and just clean him out. I
mean, anyone's got a puncher's chance, and he's probably the heavier guy.
But he's definitely the bigger man and stuff like that. But
so you have to imagine, like,
funny.
If he connects with one of his strongest punches, but it's, the guy's made a living out of avoiding punches.
Yeah, like, I don't care what anyone says, right? Robbie Lawler hits harder than Jake Paul.
This is true, but then you also have to consider that boxing, there'll probably be about 12 ounce more worth of glove between fist and face, so...
I mean, if
he definitely hits
if someone can take punches in, like... If someone can take punches in UFC...
Yeah.
Like, he's not... Obviously, we forget about the fucking Masvidal. That would have knocked out...
That would have knocked out 99.9% of people.
So... That's fucking, like, a beautiful flying knee, but... Like, punches-wise... Like, if you can take a beating in UFC, I think you're highly unlikely to get stopped in boxing in 12-ounce gloves.
Yeah, because
unless the referee jumps in.
I think boxing a lot of the time, like we saw with Conor, like the only reason like Mayweather finished him, and I even felt like that fight could have gone on, was exhaustion. Like he was too tired. He's not going to get tired in what is it, like 6 3-minute rounds or something, or 8 3-minute rounds.
8 rounds it is, yeah.
And you know, the guy's fought 25 minutes about 6 times. He's not going to get tired.
No, and I think because like obviously Jake Paul's not. I don't think he's ever been past like 2 rounds, has he? Or something?
No,
like 2 or 3 rounds.
2 or 3.
I think when he realizes that he isn't gonna finish him in 2 or 3 rounds, and this is gonna be like a 5 to 6, like he's gonna get tired.
Yeah.
And then that's when. I think that's what Ben Asprin said. He said, "I'm not a good boxer," but he said he's said he's gonna drag him to like the later rounds, to where he hasn't been before. And I think Jake Paul will get fucked. I think he'll get knackered.
Yeah, I think he'll blow himself out in like the first couple of rounds, trying to take his head off.
Yeah, he will, and that's where he'll severely mess up, because he's not an experienced boxer. He's not like he's had like fucking 100 amateur fights and like, you know, he's got a bit of knowledge. Like he's literally gonna go in there and he's gonna try and knock you out in 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah, because that's what does his brand better. If he goes in there and starts him in 1 punch, then he can go next. Right, I want Conor McGregor next. Like I just knocked out a UFC fighter in the first round, so.
Do you know what bugs me? Calls out people like a lot smaller than him.
Yeah, he does. Cause
that's what pisses me off.
It's what he takes his chance from. That's why.
Like, call out someone who's at least in your fucking weight division.
I think the only person he's kind of called out, and this person said that they were all mouth and never showed any money, was Michael Bisping. Because he called out Michael Bisping, and Bisping was like, "I've just had like both knees replaced. I've got 1 eye, and I'd still beat you." And he was like, "Send my people the contract and I'll sign it." And he says they never even tried to contact him.
Not surprised.
As he would, he'd have schooled him, he'd have slapped him round. It's just why would you want to do that?
I'm sure Ben Asprin was speaking about, he's on about, he might be speaking about entering the MMA world, Jake Paul.
Yeah, he has said this, so has Logan, because they were both high school wrestlers, so they think that they've got the skill set to do it. And it's just like...
Did you hear Ben Askren laughing though, going, they were awful high school wrestlers, like...
Yeah.
He was like, if I wanted to, like, basically have me way with him, he said, I think he said something like, if I didn't pin him in, like, less than a minute, he said he'd be ashamed of himself.
Yeah. He'd destroy him in a wrestling match. Even with a hip replacement, you'd probably destroy him in a wrestling match. Like,
yeah.
But, you know, if they want to go into MMA, I don't mind watching either of the Paul brothers get kicked in the face, so, you know, I'll be okay with that. And then if they win, they would be a bit unsufferable, but, you know.
They're not going to win.
No.
I don't know if they said, I'll go into, like, MMA. Like, Dana White doesn't like him. So I reckon Dana White just goes, oh yeah, here's a 1-fight contract.
Yeah.
Fucking, I don't know.
Someone violent.
Yeah, fight someone. Yeah, it is fucking. What weight division are you in like UFC wise?
Is he like, he's about 185 and he's probably about welterweight or something, middleweight-ish.
I'd literally just go in there and say, alright, you want to be a wrestler, here's fucking, go and fight Usman.
Yeah. Oh god, he'd hurt them so bad.
That's what I mean. So just go, here, go and fight Usman or Adesanya.
Yeah.
Like,
I think Logan might even be
see how good you are.
205, to be honest.
Hopefully, let's just test some of that Polish power.
Yeah. Meet Jan. He's going to be decapitating you today. Have you ever
Literally
seen?
just say, "Here, there's Jan." Or if you want to put on a bit of muscle, here's Ngannou.
Here's Francis. Fucking hell. Have you ever seen the video of I think it's Logan getting knocked out by Paulo Costa?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, you're getting knocked out by a middleweight in sparring gloves.
That's what I mean. I don't even think he hit him that hard either.
He didn't.
So
A lot of people thought it was fake, to be honest, but
I think he said it definitely wasn't fake though on his podcast.
Yeah, I saw Paulo Costa saying like they basically said give him one good shot, and he's like, "Are you sure? Do you want me to like half power it?" And he's like, "No, hit me good," and he just fucking put him out in one. But that's what happens against someone like that, to be honest.
Someone who knows how to fight.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
But,
feed him to fucking Vincent.
I definitely wouldn't be opposed to them going into the MMA world.
I'd watch it. I'd definitely watch it.
100%.
We'd be going back to the just days.
I think Ben Asprin will win. I think it will be like around like 5-6.
Yeah. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm definitely gonna watch it to see what goes on. Like, I think is Frank Mir still fighting on the undercard? Did they ever get that sorted out? I think they did. I think they got him a new opponent.
He's. I forgot who he's fighting now, but he's definitely.
It's a new opponent, isn't it? Because his original guy fell out.
Yeah, but he's still definitely fine because he said like Jake Paul said he'll knock out Frank Mir and I'll knock out Ben Askren.
Yeah.
So
weird. Yeah.
I will definitely watch though.
Same. Yeah. I think that's all. Is that all we've got to go? I mean, obviously we can mention the fact that there has been an agreement made for the location and the date of the Fury Joshua fight, although it's not been disclosed yet. You were saying earlier they both tweeted pictures of the new Raiders stadium, so possibly foreboding the chance that it could be in Vegas at the new Raiders stadium.
Yeah, I think either that or it was a massive coincidence that they
just happened to
both
do it.
Yeah, they both did it at the same time.
Nah.
But it's looking like it's going to be in Vegas. I don't think they're going to do it on the same day as McGregor Poirier though.
Yeah, they were angling for like the 24th, weren't they?
Yeah, I think that's the date. Like later on in the.
Yeah,
which
that'd be 2 weeks after, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so that'll probably give them. Obviously, they don't want to. I don't think that they'll want to put it on the same night as UFC. I remember I'm not sure if it was.
I know when Canelo and Triple G.
Was it the BMF?
Possibly.
Was it the BMF when that was on, and then the Canelo fight? They literally waited for the UFC fight to be over.
Yeah. Well, no, the UFC moved it earlier so they wouldn't clash.
Yeah, but they had pictures of like Canelo in like the dressing room, like watching it and like obviously waiting to go out. Like I think they literally obviously they wanted like more eyes on like the fight. I think so.
Yeah, they moved the UFC back an hour so that the Canelo fight would be just after the UFC finished, so everyone would rush over from UFC to watch Canelo fight.
Well, I think it was the BMF, wasn't it? It was Masvidal versus. Yeah, it was someone. I
don't remember the exact event. I just remember it happening. To be honest.
But
right.
I think that's.
Hopefully, as we've been saying for episodes after episodes, we'll actually get a clear answer on when that's happening soon. I'm not going to say by the next one because it never happens, and then maybe the surprise if we don't say it. But
I reckon it'll be announced on the weekend.
Yeah.
Well, say the week tomorrow. It'll be announced tomorrow. I've got inside knowledge.
Alright. Sky Sports Niall's at it again.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, sweet. Other than that, I think that's everything that we need to cover today. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be back on Monday, saying that City are still on for the quad.
Alright. But other than that, we're going to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, as we always do. Hit the bell if you want to be notified when the messages of it, when the videos go live. And then check out the description for our Twitter and Twitch. We stream there as regular as we can. Yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.